I'm Anitra Terrell, owner of Reflection Design, Afro-modern home decor. And I'm passionate about telling the stories of how we express joy at home using the art and textiles of our roots. So join me as I take a closer look at the lives and homes of men and women across the African diaspora. This is how we live.
Hi, I'm Anitra Terrell with ReflectionDesign.com, and this is How We Live, the show that celebrates the lives and homes of people across the African diaspora. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kimberly Turner, a North Carolina-based educator, artist, and interior stylist. In this episode, you'll learn how to maximize space in a smaller home and how to create a peaceful retreat you'll enjoy coming home to. Plus, you'll get some decorating tips you can incorporate today. So, let's get into it.
So happy to have you on the show. We've been following each other, I feel like, since the very beginning, like for years now, right?
Yes. And we actually met in Oakland. I don't know if you remember that. We were vending at Jack London Square.
Right. Oh my gosh. Talk about blast from the past. That's right.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a long time ago.
That's way back in the day. So this is such a full circle moment because, and we'll get into that too, because at the time you were, or maybe you still are, a jewelry designer and making jewelry, but you also ventured into doing interior styling and decor as well, right?
Yes, I still make jewelry, just not to sell. So now it's not my business, but I'll teach. Well, let me not say that because I will teach workshops, but I'm just not making it to sell now. Elizabeth and Pearls was 10 years old. And so I finally was like, okay, it just felt like time for me to sort of do something more and kind of combine all of that into what we have today.
Tell us about you and your home.
My name is Kim Turner. I'm a multidisciplinary artist and designer, and I'm also an educator and an educational consultant. And I just love design and color. Black is my favorite, but I still love color and texture and pattern and peace. And so I want to have a home that has all of those things in it, but the biggest thing is just peace and a place to come and rest and relax, but also to be inspired. And so I really just sort of work to make that happen. Like if I don't have to leave my house, I won't.
I can understand that. Now, how many square feet is your home? Is it a home, apartment, condo? What type of home is it?
It's an apartment. It's about 750-ish square feet. So it's technically a studio. It's one of those things, the bedroom doesn't have a door, but there's like a separation between the hallway and where the bedroom kind of goes. And so there's a half wall, well, it's not a half wall, but you know those walls, it's like 3/4. There's one of that. So the bedroom isn't totally closed off, although it totally feels like its own separate space.
How would you describe your style in 3 words, and who or what influenced that style?
I honestly don't know that I have 3 words. I was thinking about that because the way I describe it is just me. Literally, that's just, and I say that because you know how if you're wearing something and someone's like, oh, that's so you. That's kind of how my home is. It's a mix of different things, like I said, color, pattern, texture, things from different countries, things from different eras. So, it's just me. I guess I'm an eclectic person, if I had to say a word right. So I guess, but I don't want it to get confused with like the actual design style now that's eclectic. It's just me. And I'm inspired by nature and my ancestors. Same with my jewelry and my artwork. Like I feel like my home is just an extension of that. And the same things that inspire me just inspire me also for my home.
If I may, I would add a couple words.
Yes.
And
Go
all of
for
you
it. Go for
watching,
it.
as we, we're looking at images, Kim, so drop your ideas in the comments. Let's get Kim some descriptions. How would you describe her home? Put 3 words in the comments that you think, and then later Kim, you can go back and kind of take a look and see how people, how your home makes them feel, and what they, the impressions that they've gotten. I would say artistic, eclectic, and serene. That would be my 3 words. So let's talk about the artistic piece,
I like those.
specifically the mural that you painted in your home. I know you painted several walls in your home, but the mural is a wow factor. It's so unique, and you can tell us how easy or not easy it was to do it. Um, but what tips do you have for other people who are interested in doing something similar in their home?
Yeah, the mural was supposed to be much, much smaller. And true story, I had like drawn it out and it was supposed to be more patterns and much smaller. And I had my brush, and in my mind, it was the right size. But when I made the first brush stroke, I was like, oh, this is actually too big. And it was already there. So I just kept going, and was like, well, and so then the pattern you see now is actually not, it's the same symbols that I drew, but it's not the pattern I drew at all. I just started going. And so my suggestion would be to just go for it. I mean, you could not be like me and you could have gone the next day and painted over the little mark you made and then started again, but I just kept going for it. So I would just say, if there's a specific thing you want to do, I would plan it out, unless you're just so spontaneous, you just want to go for it. But that's the story on that, and how it ended up the way it actually
Well, one of the
is.
things I like about it is it's beautiful, but you can tell that it was hand painted. It's not necessarily like super straight, super perfect. I think that's something else for people to think about as well.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to have an artistic background to paint a mural in your home, especially if you decide to just kind of freestyle it. To your point, just kind of go with the flow, and create what makes sense to you, whether that's organized or planned out, or if it's more spontaneous. Would you agree?
Yes. And they are mud cloth symbols. And so, like you said, I didn't want it to be perfect. I wanted it to look like symbols like you might see on a piece of mud cloth, or you might see on a wall in a cave. I didn't want it to be like all of the angles are perfect. I very much wanted it to look like someone painted it. So that part, thank you. I did succeeded. But yeah, I'm always just like, just try what you want. Just do what you want to do. And then if you don't like it, you can go back and change it.
Very true. You can always go back and paint over it. One of the other elements that I like in your home is that you've created lots of cozy corners. And you've been really clever about utilizing space. As you mentioned, it's 750 square feet. So you have to get creative with the space. Let's start with the area by the balcony doors. How do you use that space? And kind of talk to us about your design decisions with that area.
Sure. That area is my studio space. So I paint over there, or sketch, or use my oil pastels. I also do some DIY stuff over there. Just throw down a tarp and do my DIY. But I also do have an indoor-outdoor rug, so I'm not worried. Like, if it gets paint on it, I don't care. So that I made that decision for 2 reasons. That was the first one. That was the second one. The first one was because it was affordable. And as I say all the time on Instagram, I am and was on a less than a shoestring budget. And so that worked for me. So that's what I use it for. That's really the only thing that I use it for. And so if it gets a little messy, it's okay, because there's a little table I've put here as a barrier. So if I'm sitting on this side of the living room, I don't necessarily have to see the mess.
I think the other area that's really
Yeah,
cool is it looks like a hallway, but there's also a closet there. Talk to us about that area of your home.
that is my hallway. So what they've done is you come in and there's a little area for the entrance and then there's a hallway. And so there was a hall closet there. And my original thing that I was going to do was create a jewelry workshop there so that I could have where I created art and where I created jewelry different because it's different techniques,
Right.
it's different messes. And so I wanted them to be separate. But then when I decided to close Elizabeth and Pearls, I had just put some tables in there and slowly decorating because again, the budget. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make this my office. So it's now my office. I know a lot of people have closet offices. And so I decided I want to be one of those people too. And so now it's my office. So I can have meetings there. I'm not choosing to right now, but I can have meetings there. I can also do some design work there. If I'm just like, all I want to use is maybe markers and pencils, it's, I can go there. But I also like the fact I have options. So I could also do it over here or I could do it there. And so I wanted to, because I know me, give myself options to be able to do certain art and
Hmm.
design in more than one place.
I like that, and what's beautiful about it is that art and creativity is a priority in your home. You've made it a priority. You made sure that there was space for it, multiple spaces for it. Um, in a space that is small, which again is very, very clever because oftentimes when you have a smaller space, you think I have to sacrifice. So I can either have this or I can either have workspace or I can have a closet. But sometimes what you're telling us is that you can have both if you kind of take a step back and look at things differently, right?
Differently. Yes. I mean, I did
Hmm.
sacrifice some storage space. So there was a sacrifice. But when I moved in here, um, the only thing I moved with was a bed, an air mattress, and some of my clothes. I actually moved into this apartment the day my dad was released from the hospital because he was ill. And so that's how I even ended up moving here.
Like
And
you said,
so I knew that everything else has just been obtained since then. Then some of my stuff was sent from Oakland. But I knew that I really wanted to, like I said before, have this place of peace and I'm an artist, so I wanted to
now
create.
you are in Charlotte now, right? You moved from Oakland to Charlotte. Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Yes, I am.
And another element
Yes.
that stood out to me in your home, and you mentioned it earlier, was that you mix decor and art from different cultures and different periods of time. Talk to us about some of your favorite pieces, where they're from, starting with the pictures that you have of the Fulani women.
Some of my favorite pieces, so many.
Yeah,
These the
with
ones over
the
here.
Fulani earrings,
Is
the
that what
two
you're talking
large
about?
pieces.
Yes.
Hmm.
In the corner. Oh, those. Those aren't even hung up yet. Those are in my bedroom. So those are two of my favorite pieces. I've only shown them on stories because I'm not finished with the bedroom yet, but they're going in the bedroom. And when I lived in Oakland, there's a place, I think it still exists, I don't actually know, called the Ashby Flea Market. It's in Berkeley, California. And I used to go there a lot. And that's where I found those from one of the vendors. And it's actually sand art from, I don't remember the country now, but it's on the back of them and they are vintage. They're from
Wow.
1991. So I remember he had three. And I was like, ooh, I can't get all three, but I want to get two. So I got those two, and I've had them for at least since 2007 or so. So they will always be with me
And I
wherever I
also
go.
saw some Frida artwork, and I think the mirrors. You have some mirrors in your bedroom that look like they're from like a good gallery wall of different styles, right?
Yes, there's a Moroccan mirror. There is one mirror. I'm not positive, but I believe it was made in Mexico. There are some pieces that are made in India. And again, when I lived in Oakland and Berkeley, there was this Indian
Good.
store. It sold spices and home decor, and so I actually have quite a few items from that store that I purchased as well. Um, So that's some of my favorite. I have so many favorite things. I have my mud cloth from Reflection Design, that I love. When I saw that one, I was like, oh, that blue again. That blue has to come home with me. It has to be mine. And so I just like mixing, because the reality for me is I just love the richness of so many cultures, and the colors and the patterns and the textures, and also for the parts that I know, the meaning behind some of that. And so I just want to include it in my life to look at and enjoy.
Now let's head over to your kitchen, which is probably my favorite part of your home. I'm eyeing your bedroom as well. I feel like that's going to be at the top of the list too, based on what you've shown us so far in terms of your progress. But right now, the kitchen is probably my favorite area in your home, because it's so bright and airy. It's colorful, but it's not over the top colorful. It's like the perfect balance of color and serenity. And I love that you created a multifunctional space. There's a dining table there. So you've made use of a small space in a very creative way. Talk to us about your approach to decorating that area in your home.
Okay. So one of the first things that I did when I moved here is I painted, there's a part of the kitchen wall that's turquoise. And then when I looked, I was like, ooh, I feel like it needs to go higher. So I kind of extended it to the studio area. And then, so they used in here this color called aesthetic white. So it's kind of off whitish-y. It's like a weirdish white. And if I would have had my own way in the budget, I probably would have painted all walls. But again, it was, there was a lot going on with, illness and parents' illness and stuff. So it's a different color than the cabinets, and the tile, the subway tile, is white. And I just looked over there and was like, why is that so white? It's so white. It was like glaring at me, especially with the turquoise. And then when I did this. And so I decided that I would have loved to do some peel and stick maybe. But then when I thought of, looked at what that cost would be, I was like, ooh, that wasn't really my budget. So I decided I would paint the tiles. So since the tiles already have a lacquer on them, I knew that I could paint them and it would be removable. I first tried with tempera paint, even though I didn't think it would work. It's water-based. I just tried it to see, and it was self-peeling. So it just started peeling off. So I, tried a little section. And then I had some acrylic paint and bought some more. I spent about $3. And then I just painted a design on the tiles. I painted like every other tile. So there would still be some white space, but I painted every other tile like black. And it was just freehand. I just kind of did it. And that toned down the white a little bit. It also took a little bit away, because the counters are they're ugly. They're horrible. They're a horrible gray. And again, I was like, I don't want to peel and stick, and B, that's just not in the budget. So, that helps to take away from the thing I don't like, which is the counters, and I didn't want the brightness. And so when I did that, I was very excited about it. It took me some hours, took about 7 total hours to make sure that it was all finished. And that's how I came up with it. And I collect colored glass. I only brought about 3 pieces with me from Oakland. So the rest of them are thrifted. I'm looking at them right now. I just realized I'm looking at them. Are thrifted, or a couple were my grandmother's, and then one is from IKEA. And so I have colored glass up there to also bring color and not just the black and white. And I have a beautiful piece of artwork that I bought in New York many years ago off of a man selling on the street. He was selling his artwork. And so that's how I wanted to bring it together. Just, again, taking that black and white to the other side of the room.
And I really like how you used smaller pops. Like the colored glass is a great way to add color and to balance out some of the white. Yeah. Because, a lot of, and some people like an all white kitchen. I'm not on that team, prefer color. So, but if you're not in a situation where you can't paint the cabinets or paint all the walls, or you can't inject all the color that you want. I love that you used colored glass as kind of a small doses and painted the tiles. I think that's another clever way to to mix up the look, the warmth. It adds culture, it adds charm. Um, so I
Right.
see you, girl.
Texture. So, thank you. So I say to anyone, yeah, thank you. To anyone, go for it. Like, if just make sure, this is important, make sure that the tile is already lacquered, because if the tile is not, which most kitchen tile is, because they need it to be protected. Because I did test, it will come off. It'll come off with Clorox wipe. It'll come off with soap and water. And so when I move, it's going to take me a while, maybe an hour or two, but all I have to do is clean it off. So if you're going to do that, yes, you can paint tile that is not your forever tile in your home that you have purchased, but you just have to make sure it already has a protective coating so that, you don't mess up the tile.
So lacquered tile, and you used acrylic paint, right?
I used acrylic paint. Yep. And acrylic paint comes off of it's already on top of something slippery. So it's going to come off easily because it's not really permanently adhesed to it. Right. So it will come off. And then since we're in the kitchen, then earlier this year, what do you call those? The door handles, they're silver. So here's the thing. I can't stand stainless steel, not even high quality as a lot in the kitchen. I'm not a fan of just stainless steel appliances. It's not my thing. I don't like silver handles. And so that was something else that I did, that one day I was like, ooh, let me calculate how much these handles that I want are going to cost. And they were a lot. The ones that I wanted, I was like, ooh, I don't have that. So I was just thinking, what can we do? And I was like, what would happen if I put gold duct tape, because I wanted brass. And so that's how I've done the handles. I just duct taped them. I left some of them partially silver, just since the stainless steel is there. Maybe they could mix metals. And so, just get creative and try things. That's my motto.
The gold duct tape. That's interesting. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I was like, you use duct tape for lots of things. Why not? All I could do was I spent $3.94, and so I said, hey, okay, I can give that up if it doesn't work.
Right.
And I think it helped too, because I like brass and I have a lot of other brass in here. And so I kind of wanted to also connect more brass in the kitchen and not just only see the silver stuff. So the refrigerator is still a work in progress. I'm not finished. I don't know what I'm doing with it again. So, but yeah, it needs to be covered. So
now at Reflection Design, our mantra is see yourself at home. Kim, how does your home reflect who you are and how you live in it?
It's literally just me. My home is like, if you could take a peek inside of my brain and my artistic mind and my soul of like what I really love, what brings me joy, that's what my home would tell you. So it would tell you, I love color. I like to be at home and chill, that I like mixing patterns, and that I just appreciate I'm not a trend person, so I don't really do trends. So I just appreciate just being who you are and doing what you want that makes you feel good, right? Because I'm the one who lives here every day. It's nice when people come over and they love it too, but my main goal is that I have to be comfortable and I have to look up and maybe look at something I painted or painting that I've bought from someone else and say, oh, I see something new, or it brings me an inspiration.
Now, this is a great time to get into our lightning round. Kim, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you tell us the first thing that comes to mind. Question one.
All right.
Scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Question one. If a biopic was made about your life, who would you pick to play you?
Oh, 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 oh. That's a really good question to which I do not know the answer. Who would I pick to play me in a bite? I don't know if that's a lightning round question, but I think I would have to pick someone who could really show my quirks and my me. And no one's really coming to mind that I think of at the moment.
Okay.
For that.
All right, audience, let's help Kim out again.
Yeah, it might come.
Drop it in the comments. Who would you pick to play Kim in the biopic of her life? Let us know in the comments. Drop those in there, and then Kim, you can go back and get some ideas and you.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, let me write that down.
Is there a coffee table book that you recommend that we all check out?
Yes, I have quite a few favorites, but I've chosen a couple to show you. Well, 3. I'm going to show you this one first because it's called the Black Artivism Capsule, and it was made by someone else. Well, someone I met on Instagram. Her name is Nakia Booker. So in 2020, she got together a bunch of artists, you know, what was happening in 2020. There's George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and then COVID. And just this book talks about what artists were doing during that time and what sort of in response or, you know, what our work is. And I say our because so I'm one of the people who was in. Yeah,
of course.
Can I show you? See, and my photographer took these pictures, but this was when Elizabeth and Pearls was open. And this was my Love Letters from Our campaign, Love Letters from Our Ancestors campaign that really talked about we are our ancestors' love letters. Like if we thought about it, that's us. If they sat down and wrote love letters, I feel like we are what they were writing. And so that's the one book. But let me give you a design book. Afro Chic. I love this book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
I love this book. And there's a couple more, but it's also old, brand new. I really like this book too. I like both of these because they show real people in their homes, some of them small, and what you can do. So yeah, I have a lot more coffee table books, but I'll just
those are great, and I love the variety in all of those books. Yeah. Okay, if your home had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, my home had a theme song. Oh gosh, see, you got me. You got me on that one. Maybe. Wait, what was the name of that? I forgot the name of the show, but he was like a superhero. He could fly. It was in the 80s or the 90s. It was like the words were like, believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought of
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell I'm an 80s kid? Like, you just had to say like the first 3 words. I was like, oh, that's Greatest American Hero.
No, that's why I was like, yes, I think because I'm walking on air. I never thought I would feel so free, flying away on a wing and a prayer.
Who could it be?
I
believe it or not, it's just me. Yes, girl, you took it back with that.
So that's what first came to mind.
Mm-hmm. That's a cool answer. I would have never thought that. You dug deep with that one. You dug in the crates.
Hey, it just popped up.
But it's cool though. Y'all remember that song? Let us know in the comments. Or that TV show, The Greatest American Hero.
Yes,
that is a 80s classic.
Yeah, I don't even know who the actor. Who was the actor? I don't even know. Anyways, whatever. Now I'm going down the road of like, who was that? I know. I don't remember his name or anything.
Yeah, let us know if y'all remember that show. That was a classic. Kim, where can we find you online?
Currently, I just switched my page to the new name. It's called Dream Your Reality Creative Studio on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't put my first video up yet. It might go up by the time you see this, but also Dream Your Reality Creative Studio is my YouTube name as well. And those are like the two places that you can find me right now.
And really quick, since you mentioned your YouTube channel, tell us a little bit about what we can expect from your channel.
Yes. You are going to see some DIYs, and you'll probably just catch me yapping a little bit about, I'm not totally 100% sure all the time. You'll see some art demos. You will also see probably some video clips because, like I said, with Elizabeth and Pearls, which I actually still do have that YouTube channel. You could check it out. It still has all of our campaigns on it. So it's basically short films that I created to show the jewelry, but each one has a message. So you'll see more of that on Dream Your Reality Creative Studio as well. And the reason I wanted to switch it is so that I could put everything under one thing. So a creative studio allows you to do that. You know, if I'm just saying I'm a design or this, then people like to put you in boxes. I don't like boxes. So I said, well, the way to open that box is to say design studio. And I could put as many creative things as I'd like under design studio, from, like I said, workshops to design. I don't want to call it advice, but design knowledge or wherewithal to artwork. It just will run the gamut. And also, you know, contact me. I'm starting to do interior styling for other people. And so I'm really trying to work my way into doing that slowly. The transition has been slow, but I think very purposeful.
And we will make sure that all of Kim's links are available in the description so you can look at her jewelry design work as well as her new and upcoming YouTube channel and socials as well. Kim, thank you so much for joining me. It has been a trip down memory lane. It's been an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time. I was so excited, a little bit nervous, but I really had a wonderful time.
You're so welcome. You, Anitra. And thank all of you for watching. This is How We Live.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And to add more style and culture to your home, shop reflectiondesign.com.